Welcome to the stream. I'm playing some BLOXBURG. I'm always up for people to join the game and will play with us, but there will be a limited openings. Okay. Pancakes for breakfast. Hello, welcome to the stream. Just doing some normal roleplay. Because I'm bored. Background noise, that's what I forgot.
You're always there with just what they need to make them feel safe, special, and most of all, loved. You're always there for them, and we're always here for you. Food Lion, here for every moment.
That's the angle, that's the way.
Am I the asshole for straightening my daughter's hair without my wife's permission? I, male 32, have a 4-year-old daughter. Let's call her Gracie. Gracie is half black, her mother, female 31, being African American. Her mother overall handled all of Gracie's hair care and taught me how to do simple styles, but even those simple styles were difficult. My wife ended up going on vacation with her friends to celebrate her friend's birthday, and my mother came over to visit. I hadn't done Gracie's hair in a few days, so it became nappy and unmanageable. When I tried to comb her hair, the comb broke. My mother said that I should get my daughter a perm so her hair would be more manageable, so I took her to a salon and got it permed. My wife got home, and when she saw our daughter, she was livid. She screamed at me and then at my mother for even suggesting that, but I think she was overreacting because it's just hair. Then she brought up our wedding. My mother had tried to get my wife to straighten her hair for the wedding, but my wife refused because she wanted her natural hair on her wedding day so she could be as natural as possible. My mother often comments on my wife's and daughter's hair, and I agree with my mother. But now my wife's telling me that perms chemically burn and damage hair to change the texture, and that I damaged our daughter's hair. Now she's thinking of getting our daughter's hair cut so her hair can heal from the damages, but I still think she's overreacting. Besides, I don't want my daughter's hair to be cut. She looks so cute now. Am I the asshole for straightening my daughter's hair without my wife's permission, even though Gracie is my daughter too? I first want to preface this we are two white individuals. I do not even feel qualified to talk about all of the cultural context and significance behind, black, African American, or mixed individuals and their hair. And I cannot imagine the struggle, the heartbreak, the everything that individuals with hair like this, textured hair, natural hair, have gone through. So it was sent in by so many people, and it is a story, and I will do my best to give my take on this, and you as well. You're kind soul. So that being said, let's get into it.
So my thoughts are, I think no matter race or anything, just human, hair is a very significant defining feature of a person.
Yes.
And I think it is often I think it's a way of
it's people's identities.
I think also too, hair is something, it's one of the only things that you can actually physically change, and you can adapt throughout your lifestyle and things that you experience throughout life. But in this instance, regardless of race or culture, even if it was our kid, I don't think I'd go and make a big change about them, like their hair, without at least talking to you. I feel like that's a mutual decision. But especially in this context, I feel like there's no way you go and make a decision about this when clearly there's someone else who would, that at least you should consult.
Yeah. and would probably be way, 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 way better equipped to handle it. Because based on him, like, saying her mother overall handled all of Gracie's hair care and taught me how to do simple styles. But even those simple, and he literally quotes it, quote, simple styles were difficult.
Right.
He is the most unqualified fucking person to make a decision on his daughter's hair.
Yeah.
He's white. He has white hair. He's unequipped. He can't even handle the simple styles.
Yeah, and like changes in hair is a big deal, especially when you're making them on people that are not yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. When it's you and you have that autonomy, go do whatever the fuck you want.
100%.
But and like I don't know if he mentions the age of his daughter. Like she's young. Like don't make decisions like that for a little girl. Team effort, especially with the mom. That's the one that's doing their hair. And this is something that really, really irks me. And at the same time, I love when parents take the initiative. If you are white, from my perspective, if you are white and have a child with a black individual, an African American individual, or some other, ethnicity that has more ethnic hair, it is your job as that child's parent to figure out how to do their hair. Him saying, oh, I can't do their hair, I can't do her hair, the simple styles are too difficult.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. You are dropping the ball as that little person's parent. That's on you as a parent. And it goes in any way. If you're a mom, you should learn how to do your child's hair. And there are so many great resources on YouTube. You can go to a salon and offer, women that have the same hair in a barbershop or a salon to teach you. There's courses in some cities that I've seen. Like, it is on your job as a parent to learn how to do that child's hair, your child's hair. So for him to be like, no, I can't do the simple ones. Fuck you. And then to go do this without the mom's permission, big fuck you.
Yeah. From under the instruction of someone else who probably even knows less.
And this is where there are so many. I know, like, some people are going to be like, well, it's not racism. It's not about race. No, it kind of is. Like, if you're changing someone's natural hair to fit more of a white standard or a white beauty standard to straighten someone's natural curly hair, there could be some subconscious racism there. And it's not, again, like, this is why I prefaced it, like, I do feel very unqualified to even talk about this, but there's a lot to be said about that and the reason behind straightening it and the reason why he said, oh, I don't want to cut her hair now because it looks so cute.
Quick, what's the tax on UV sunglasses in London? Business is changing fast, and change means
Yeah.
Natural hair is beautiful.
Yeah. That
Like-
was an interesting comment.
Yeah. And I love that a lot of black women in America, in this country, and just from what I've seen, are kind of taking power back and wearing, box braids in the workplace and, doing stuff like that because that's their hair. Like, that's the way they want to style it. And that's for, black women, that's a protective hairstyle and it's not unprofessional. So I cannot wait to see the changes that we make, going forward and addressing stuff like this. But yeah, fuck this dude. So top comment on this one that has 12,000 upvotes. Your daughter is half black. You're married to a black person and you use the words nappy and unmanageable. Besides that, you sound like you haven't learned how to care for your daughter's hair, nor tried to learn how to care for curly/coily hair. Not to mention, it sounds like you haven't learned to respect your wife's boundaries. You're the asshole. Go watch a couple of videos on curly hair and stop listening to your mom.
Yep.
Next comment. No black person would straighten their child's hair at such a young age. It's just not done. And for your info, hair isn't just hair in the black community. Furthermore, you knew your wife was against straightening your daughter's hair. Did you ever ask her why? You were absolutely wrong. Educate yourself and then apologize to your wife and daughter. You're the asshole.
If he ever even realizes.
He should have known from the minute that they had conflict during their wedding when his mom was like, straighten your hair. You should straighten your hair for your wedding. And his wife wanted to be natural and curly. And from that moment on, it should have been like, oh, like,
Yep.
I wonder why. Come on. Just scrolling through some of the comments because they're very, very good on this post. I'll be sure to link it. The comments should for sure still be there, even if it gets deleted. Someone goes, children's hair in general also tends to be more susceptible to damage. I got a curly perm as a kid. White girl with completely straight, straw-thin hair. It was down to my butt before. It had to be cut to my shoulders after. Cosmetologist here. I have refused chemical services on anyone under 13. It doesn't matter if they have booked an hour or more of my time. I've always tried to explain why it is not a good idea. If the little one is super insistent / bratty, I speak with the parent away from them and most of the time, pretty much always force them to act as the parent, not as a friend. Any service between 13 and 15 is to enhance, never change dramatically. I'm speechless. Dad, grandma, and stylist, just awful.
Yeah.
So on to the updates. This guy got roasted in the comment. There's thousands of comments kind of laying it out, telling him where he fucked up, and rightfully so. I've read the comments and came to the realization about my marriage and my wife, and now I just feel horrible. My wife mentioned in passing about her childhood and was always vague about it, but after hearing a conversation between her and my mother-in-law, I just realized how much I truly messed up. My wife is dark-skinned and tall, and she got bullied for that along with her hair. She went to a predominantly white school in Bogalusa, hopefully. And that made her hate herself and her looks for a while. My God, my wording was horrible too. My wife is beautiful, and so is my daughter, and their hair isn't a problem. I'm the problem, and so is my mother. After hearing my wife's conversations about me and my mother, I realized that my mother's a bully and I'm just a drone / follower. My mother constantly picked on my wife and I just stood by and blindly agreed because she's my mom. But that woman who I am married to is my wife and I should have protected her from my own ignorance and my mother's ignorance. I took something she took pride in and belittled it. I was too lazy to learn and took my mother's advice. Hell, my mother said so many cruel things that I didn't think twice of until reading these comments. She'd always make sure my daughter didn't play outside when she'd go over her house because she didn't want her to be darker, like her mother. And that comment made me uncomfortable, but I took it as a weird joke. I'm cutting my mother off, and I'm going to apologize to my wife and daughter and start watching hair tutorials again. I'm also going to sign up for a hair braiding class when the pandemic has slowed. God, I'm a horrible husband and father. When my wife is willing to talk to me, I won't force her. I'll apologize, and if she wants to leave me over this, it'll hurt like hell, but I'll understand. I've just pushed her to the sidelines for so long and couldn't even see it. I am the asshole. The biggest asshole here.
So I've got my essay written, and I've been working on it for about a week. So now I'm going to show you how I use Grammarly to edit. Okay, so here's my essay, and I'm going to click through Grammarly suggestions in the right panel. Your sentence may be unclear or hard to...
There's way more edits, and it goes on, which I will get to, but first edit, wow. Like, wow, big realization.
That's why Reddit's a beautiful thing.
I know.
I mean, that's what you'd hope to come from after like a significant time in therapy is you'd hope for someone to come to this type of realization, and it's honestly pretty great that he went to Reddit,
Yeah.
made the post, and then cared so much about the responses, because I think we've seen people that post these stories and they get the feedback that they're not wanting, and then
Yeah.
they're just still ignorant to it, and
And
they
they
just say,
delete it.
oh yeah, you're just, nobody knows, everyone's just against me. For someone to take that and actually really understand it and
Yeah.
really make a change is very cool.
I agree. I think he wholeheartedly went into this being like, I'm not in the wrong. Like, she's overreacting. Haha. It's just hair. So the fact he's updating people still, multiple edits, and
Yeah.
didn't just delete, crazy. So, edit number 2. I just got off the phone with my mother. My wife listened in on the call. I didn't realize she was in the living room with me until she put her hand on my shoulder during the call. My mother is, well, livid. She freaked out on me and threatened to call CPS when I told her I didn't want her coming around my wife and daughter, and refused to even try to understand what we did wrong.
CPS.
Then I mentioned the damage that the perm could cause to my daughter. I read a small article by a black-owned hair care company about childhood perm horror stories, along with the history behind perms, and I'm just disgusted with myself and my mother. And my mother said my wife was being a drama queen. When I told her my daughter might need a haircut, she flipped out and said, quote, I won't let my granddaughter look like a bull dyke. And I was mortified.
Wow.
She said she'd take my daughter from me and my wife and raise her the way God intended. That caused a screaming match. My wife put her hand on my shoulder in the midst of it and took the phone from me and told my mother if she comes to our home again, the police will be called, and then she hung up. I put our baby to bed, and then we talked. My daughter and wife are beautiful, and I don't understand how, for the life of me, I thought those horrible things. Maybe it was like that SNL sketch, Diet Racism, hearing those things from your parent and just blindly listening no matter how horrible it sounds. My wife is still mad at me, rightfully so, but she told me she isn't leaving me over this. She said I have a lot to learn and that if I want this relationship to last, I need to open my eyes and realize that the world I live in is different from the one she lives in, and that different from the world our daughter lives in.
Yep.
I'm horrified at myself and horrified at my mother. My father called a few moments ago, but I ignored the call. I'll talk to him in the morning about this. Thank you all for talking some sense into me, and I thank my wife for staying with me even though she doesn't have to. Tomorrow we are asking our baby girl if she wants a haircut. Knowing her, she'll want to get one, like her uncle. He has these cool designs shaved into his head. If she wants that, she can have that. She's my world, and I refuse to ever be this ignorant and harmful to her again. Final edit. My wife and I arranged for our daughter to spend the night at my mother-in-law's house, and couples therapy will be in the near future. The comment section have certainly given me many perspectives of how horrible my words and actions were. I won't be doing any more replies or edits because this is a throwaway account. I think that's the right term for this. My mother has called the house multiple times from my sister's phone. My sister is 25 and lives for drama, so now the whole family's on my mother's side and is blowing up my phone with many mixed opinions, most of which are horrible. It's funny, the only family member whose opinion reflects this comment section's common consensus is the one who was disowned a few months ago. Well, actually, that's not funny. Shows how messed up my family is.
Yeah.
Thank you all for the replies, no matter how harsh or mean they might seem. I needed this.
That's awesome.
It is. It really is. You know, to have both parents now be on the same side and realized, you know, that his family is very racist, and
Yeah.
to now be an ally and willing to learn is amazing. So truly thank God for Reddit and this comment section because they worked wonders.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. I mean, I think I've always been the most inspired by people who are the truest to themselves, no matter what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are just passionate and just are who they are no matter what. And no matter what the situation is, they are themselves. They're never changing to appease others. They're never trying to fit in because of certain things. They're just true to themselves, and it's so infectious and it's just so inspiring to me.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that this child is now at the age where they can start to make those decisions and they can start to have that power over themselves to say, yeah, I want to go get this kind of haircut. I want to go do this.
Yeah.
And I just love that. I think that's so cool. And I think that'd be so cool as a parent, regardless of race or any of the situations. I just think those situations are very cool.
It's very fun.
And I just love Reddit in this post.
Yeah. I, too, like thinking about this little girl's experience, too. Like, she was probably so scared. Like, so scared. And this probably, like, getting her hair chemically treated. Like, it's not like an easy, you're in and out 15-minute, 20-minute cut. Like, this is a long process of sitting there under a dryer, rinsing. And, like, it must have been, honestly, if you've never gone through it and then, like, you're going through it with your dad who doesn't do your hair.
Yeah.
It was probably a really traumatic situation for her. So to then have that autonomy to do the designs, like her uncle, like it's making the best out of such a bad situation. So
Yeah.
I think it's really great. It's hard to find comments about the updates because it was all one thread, it's all one post. So all the, the upvotes are typically the ones that got posted right away. But amazing revelation. I'm glad he's standing up for his wife and his, his kiddo, because this could be very, very dark if he wasn't, this type of person to
Right, and that's
admit
no
your
easy thing to
mistake.
do.
It's
not easy to say
I fucked up.
well, yes, that, but also to say all of these people in my family are wrong. And then you have your family, like your close, your mom, your wife and daughter family. It's hard to say all these people are wrong, and but to actually realize what is truly right and take a stand against the majority and stand up for you and the your people.
Yeah.
To stand up for your wife and kid against all of the rest of your family is really powerful.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really cool.
It's amazing. There's also a comment I want to highlight, like, as I'm scrolling, and I think there's a typo, so I'll correct it as I think they mean it, but learning to care for black hair isn't hard. And since he's a father, he should have already learned or researched hair care tips, especially if she's over the age of 4 and older, like we've said, neglectful. But, like, that's not something I've researched, like, how to actually care for black hair, but I think that's also something to point out, like, this person, based on their emoji, like, is a black individual. And so, like, that being said, it's not hard. And even if it was hard, he should have learned it for his kid. And recognized
100%.
And recognize that it's his job as a parent. So, like, I guess just, like, overall in this whole conversation, like, I don't want to make it seem like black hair care is, like, daunting and hard and unattainable, like, for a white individual. Like,
but even
it is not.
Right, and even if he sees it that way,
yeah,
still, even if it seems difficult to you, go fucking learn it.
It's your kid.
Yeah.
And this person comments back, 100%. I started learning the second my husband and I decided to try for kids. Try for kids.
Yeah.
Not even get pregnant, not even have kids, try for kids.
Yes.
That is something that if you are in a relationship with a partner of a different ethnicity, you should be doing that. Like, open your eyes to what a future looks like.
Yeah.
If you're childless, you want to remain childless, I guess a different story, but maybe look into why you don't give a shit still. I don't know.
Well, and this guy, once after hearing the entire story, it almost seems like he wasn't ill-intended. He was just uninformed. And he just was so close-minded to these ideas. If he grew up this way and had this whole ideology his whole life, then I don't know. It's
No,
not bad again.
No, I think like I get where you're going. I think it's hard because if you like look at people, we're getting very like on the realm of racism, and again, I'm undereducated in this, and I've been really trying to do my part and learn and be an ally and learn more. But I think, when you have a family he's white, he's grown up in this, he's grown up with these clearly a racist mom,